South Florida. Welcome once again to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler, one of the co-founders of the LS Financial Group. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Len, I've got to say, buddy, it's great to see you in person. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. It's good to see you. You know, we do the radio together and every week, and now here we are together. And,
yeah, sometimes we're just hearing each other in the headsets, but I get to do this with you face to face today. Awesome. There's a lot of great stuff that you have put together for today's program. Safety is one of our biggest concerns that we're going to be talking about for South Florida and the retirees here. There's a lot of exposure out there, and you're going to talk about some key action points to help people get their money more safe. I love that that's always your perspective. You ready to kick off today's program?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're talking about that safety, right? You know, we're so thankful to be safe here in America and in South Florida, and I just take a moment to put out some thoughts and prayers to the folks that are going through some of this global issues that we have going on. You know, we're just so grateful and thankful. For our freedom.
We live in a country that's protected. You're a former military man yourself. You helped provide us this blanket of freedom, so we really appreciate your time and service. But there are a lot of people around the world today who are struggling.
Absolutely.
And so, today we are going to focus on money and how to get it safe. And some of the triggers that have caused it are the things that are happening all around the world today. It isn't just you, though. You know, you and I do the radio. You've got your partner, Art Athenis, that is the co-founder of you with the LS Financial Group. When did you guys get started? Yeah,
well, actually, Art's been doing it for 32 years. He was a Prudential stockbroker, and I've been at it now about 16 years. I got hit in 08 pretty hard, okay, and I refocused my whole business to this whole thing of safety because, like I said, I got hit pretty hard. But we got Art. I call Art our master chef, okay, and I'm just a sous chef. I cut vegetables and get out of the kitchen, right?
Financially speaking, right? Yeah.
But he really is good at the technical things behind the scenes, doing all the analysis. It's just not me. This is me. I love doing this, right? And but it's a good partnership because I do what I do and he does what he does, and it comes together nicely. Art's an awesome guy. I've got also with me my new wife, as you probably know. I've been married about 5 months now. To Carolina. I call her my Spanish queen. She's from Colombia, but she is also on our team, and she's been doing customer relations for 32 years. She worked for a group of doctors, the same doctors for all that time. So she's with us, helping us, and we also have a CPA on board with us as a co-founder.
Which taxes today really important to have somebody who can take a really good look at that.
And she helps us a lot with that whole thing of taxes, and we know where that's probably gone.
So, and specifically, you're not just a broadcasting personality doing radio and television. The focus is what you do on a daily basis. It's helping people with their financial plans, their financial strategy. If they call the phone number that they see on the screen there, they get to talk to your customer service, and then they get to speak with you personally. They can ask you whatever they want to about their retirement planning, correct?
Yeah, Art and I, we really, we want to keep this thing personal, okay? I mean, that's just, we're kind of a boutique. We're not, if you're looking for whatever, J.P. Morgan or Raymond James, that's not who we are, okay? One of the things, we are independent, which is nice. So we don't have to sell a certain product. We can go anywhere to get our products for folks. But yeah, we like to keep it family, okay? A lot of our clients end up being personal friends, and that's how we like it.
Right. Well, one of the things that you talk about is it's very different for 30 or 40 years to go through accumulation. One of the harder things, one of the things that people really struggle with is the decumulation. You've got a little bit of a Mount Everest analogy to this.
I like to tell stories, and so hopefully related to, to the financial world. But yeah, I mean, if we were going to climb Mount Everest, okay, and a lot of people are doing that now these days, by the way. But what would be our goal? All right, most people would say,
get to the top, I guess.
Get to the top, right? Well, that's true. That's a goal that we want. But guess what? We got to now come down the mountain safely, right? So when you're in the accumulation phase, like you said, you're 30 years old, or in that, you want a return on your money, okay? So you're looking at getting a good return, and that's how financial advisors are trained, right? But what happens when you hit that top of that mountain, you're coming down now, 5 years before retirement, 5 years in, and 5 years out. We call it the red zone. All bets are off. I mean, it is a totally different headset. So the paradigm shift has to happen. Folks have to realize now, you want a return of your money. Okay. Now, we certainly still want to get some good returns, obviously, right? And we don't want to put all your money in a, this safety that we're going to talk about, but you need to have some of that money safe.
Right.
And so that's what we talk about coming down the mountain, because there are a whole different set of things. We talk about withdrawal rate, right? How do you withdraw?
There was one of these general numbers. You and I have talked on the radio program before. This fellow who had written the 4% rule.
Right.
This was written 30 or 40 years ago.
1994. Bingman, I think was his name, and it was a theory. Okay.
Yeah.
And basically what he said was, if you have 60% stocks, 40% bonds, and you take 4% out, okay, your money will last the rest of your life. Well, the problem is, look where we are today. Do you think he factored in 8.5% inflation? No. Probably not, right?
No.
I mean, it's a whole different ball game now, right? Matter of fact, today what they're saying, Spike, is it's probably about 2.8%. So think about that. You now have less money, right? You need more money to go the distance, okay? Because now you can only take out 2.8%.
Solutions. Are there ways to avoid having your money exposed to things like the 8% of inflation? This is ruining your purchasing power. How do you help solve these issues for folks?
Well, one of the things we do, there's a couple of things we do. Obviously, we take a look at your whole portfolio. I mean, we got to, it's kind of like a doctor, right? I've got to get a diagnosis before I can do a prognosis. So we got to gather some data.
So somebody can't just walk into the doctor's office and say, "Hey, make me better."
Right.
You're like, well, wait a second, we've got to do a couple of tests
first. Or if the doctor, you walked in, the doctor said, "Oh my God, go to the emergency room quick, get to the hospital." he didn't do any diagnosis at all, right? So no, we have to do that, right? So we really want folks to, come in or talk to us and virtually, whatever works. But yeah, the part of safety is we will put some of that money into what's called a fixed index annuity. Now, I know what you're going to say.
Okay, just pumping my brakes over here.
Right?
You were talking about annuities.
A lot of bad information out there, folks. Let me tell you what, folks. Annuities aren't bad, but there are some bad annuities, okay? And there's some salespeople that are overzealous that will put you in the wrong design. But today, these things can really be helpful, and your money's going to be safe. You're never going to lose your principal with me, by the way, folks, never. Okay, so you can't look at Len and say, "Len, you lost my money." Not with this, what we do here with fixed index annuities. Okay, they're not variable annuities. We do not, Bart and I don't like variable annuities, folks, because what you're right back in the market again. Okay, and you're getting fees. You wouldn't believe the fees that we find some of these that Art does the analysis. It's unbelievable, and those fees will eat you up.
Right.
So that's where we help them get safe, Spike.
And one of the things that I know that you do is the Safe Money Scorecard. Now, does this help people evaluate those different kinds of products?
Right. Yeah. One of the things I do, and I do this for folks, right? I give away my 5 steps to a successful retirement, a book that I've just come out with. I can do it in an ebook or send it to you, right?
Great.
And then we also have the Safe Money kits, Safe Money information kit that I send out. One of the things in there is going to be the Safe Money Scorecard. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 4 annuities, all right, out there, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put them side by side, and we're going to do a comparison, all right? And believe me, folks, they're no-fee product. Now, if you want a fee to enhance something, you can do that, okay? But basically, the basic chassis of a fixed index annuity, folks, it's a no-fee product.
Okay. All right. And you're not talking an all or nothing.
No.
You're saying maybe a portion of your money.
Right.
But more importantly, you want to do the complete analysis.
Absolutely.
Len, I've got to take a very quick commercial break. Folks out there, number one, you want to get your own Safe Money Scorecard. You can call the number you see here on the screen. But on a daily basis, Len is helping folks figure out the kind of safety solutions that you need out there. Call this phone number right now so you can come in for your own complimentary review of your own retirement situation. Call 844-299-0355, 844-299-0355. More Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler when we get back right after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Thank you so much for coming back, South Florida, to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Len, we're talking about ways to keep people's money safe as much as we possibly can with everything that's going on, the volatility in the markets, the concerns worldwide right now. But there are a lot of different risks and worries about decumulation. So if you didn't mind, I wanted to ask a little bit about that right now. So how do you help people go from, I guess what we call accumulating for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years, to moving to that decumulation? It's got to be a different mindset.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you know, we got to do a little coaching because, again, they're so used to even the talking heads and everything. It's all about getting return on your money, okay? That's all they talk about. And so they're conditioned, right? And so, yeah, you have to help them make that change. And we do a lot of hand-holding. We do a lot of education, even with our website, you know, LS Safe Money, folks. You can go out to LS Safe Money, and there's a lot of resources out there for you, okay? Very good resources. So, you know, that's something that, that we do. But, yeah, coming down that mountain now, again, paradigm shift. That we've got to get our headset different. Right? Okay. And then we're going to talk about a few of these things. Right.
So market risk, limiting risk. As you say, being invested in Wall Street is kind of like, you know, gambling your money at the casino. How do you prepare people for the market risk, or more importantly, shelter their money from that? Right.
That, again, you know, I always say on the radio, as you know, folks, get out of the Wall Street casino, okay? And get away from the sharks out there, because they're trained to keep you in the market. And when you're in the market, folks, you got fees, you got sub accounts, it's unbelievable. So we want to help get a portion of that money, not all of it, but a portion of it safe. What we usually say is whatever your age is, like if you're 60 years old, then 60% of your money should be in a safe place. And we use the fixed index annuity, okay? We talk about the scorecard. We show them the top 4. And that is where we do the safety thing. But look, you get some nice returns here, folks. These annuities are not like you think. The newer annuities in the last 3 or 4 years, they're totally different. Okay, so we're getting anywhere from 7 to 11%.
Yeah, you've heard a lot of them that have a bad rap and so forth. So you're saying they're different from what they were 10, 20, 30 years ago?
They are different. Very, yeah. And it's a big market, all right? These folks are marketing folks. They know they got 10,000 baby boomers a day that are retiring. It's a huge market. And so they're designing really products, and they're enhancing them really nicely. Some of them have long-term care built into it, for example, right?
We've talked about that.
That's one of the risks, yeah.
Right. Can you explain a little bit about that? How does a product go from being an annuity to long-term care?
Well, again, every one of the companies do things differently, all right? So one way, if you get start income, what they'll do when you start that income and you have a doctor that says 2 of the daily living things, right?
If you can't, I guess,
transfer, feed yourself, you know, 2 of those things.
Fill out your crossword puzzle, and it's really important things.
Yeah, get it signed by a doctor, and then you'll be able to get, you know, half of that. They'll actually give you 50% more on that base. So that's pretty cool. So if you're getting $7,000 a month, they're going to double it. Okay, for long-term care. That's one way, but there's a lot of different designs with different companies, but obviously the master chef will.
And it sounds interesting, but for folks who are sitting at home right now and they're watching this, is this something that they can search on their own? They should search on their own? how does working with somebody help them determine what's going to be the best kind of solution for them?
Well, I mean, that's where we come in, obviously, right? We want folks to come in and see us. I mean, we're experts at it. We've been doing it 32 years. So we want folks to come in and we'll help them with that, right? Now, a lot of folks go out and do research. But I got to tell you, they get bad information. Annuities aren't bad. But there's a lot of bad stuff out there about annuities. But if they're designed properly, they can and by the way, they can also hedge inflation.
Right.
With laddering.
So this is one of the things, if folks call the phone number on the screen there and say, I'm interested in a safer solution for myself, right. This is something that you and Art and the team can help them evaluate.
Absolutely.
Now, are you going to be trying to power sell them when they walk in the door? Is this something they need to be worried about?
That's not what we do. I mean, seriously, you know, we're just folks. I mean, we're just regular folks, okay? And like I told you before, a lot of our clients become good friends of ours, okay? We do client appreciation things. So, you know, the matter of fact, Spike, the first meeting, what I want to do, I don't even want to talk about finance. I mean, I want to just get to know you. I want to know who you are. What are your goals? Where are your kids in college? What's happening with your family? I just want to get to know you.
Yeah.
Right? And I want it to be easy, right? And then we'll move into, okay, I'll ask
what
them,
are you looking to accomplish?
What are you looking to accomplish? Yeah.
Right.
And we can just go nice, and you know, so we're not hard selling anybody.
Okay. So another thing that I wanted to ask you about a risk with what's happening in the markets today, and as you're trying to get your money safe, is this sequence of returns.
Yeah.
I've heard this phrase before. Can you explain it for us a
Absolutely.
little bit?
Usually we'll show them a chart, and it's in the safe information kit that I send out. What it is you had Tom and Mary, and then you got another here, Joe and Susie, and they put $500,000 in to a fixed index annuity, okay? The folks over here, they get some zeros in the first few years, okay?
And zeros meaning nothing happening in the markets.
Yeah, maybe they got -10, maybe it was -2 or 3, but they got some negatives in the very beginning, okay? Over here on this side, these folks didn't get any. They got nice hits, nice returns, and they got some down here, zeros, okay? But what happened is the folks over here on the left-hand side of this column, they ran out of money in 8 years. Totally out of money. And over here,
just with a couple of negative, and let's be honest, right now, we're looking at negative at least for the first third of the year so far.
Absolutely, and that's what the principal protection plan, right, what we've been talking about, the scorecard, that's what we do. It's safe. You're not going to lose your money. If that thing goes down, you just stay and hold. We say zero's your hero, right? And when it comes back up, the only way you can go with what Art and I say, we put you on the green line, is you're either going to go up or sideways. Up or sideways. And you don't give back any gains, you keep your gains. So when you look at the graph and the chart, it's amazing what happens.
Right. And the sequence of returns is even more dangerous the first 2 or 3 years into retirement, or maybe even the first 2 or 3 years right before. And right in the beginning, taking big losses. And that's what we're looking at right now. So if you can talk to the viewers out there right now, what can the Safe Money Scorecard, calling in, having a conversation, what can you do for them about the worry of where the markets are right now?
Oh, absolutely. Folks, if you come in, all right, just come in and we'll sit down with you and help you. You can see the number. It's 844-299-0355. We'll have the scorecard. We'll go over that with you. But we want to look at your whole portfolio, okay? Art will go in and look at everything you have. Because remember, we do manage money. Okay, we don't just do fixed index annuities. So we can help you, and we're going to look at your whole plan, right? So if you'll come in, give us a call. If you want to do a Zoom call, that's fine with us, right? But if you can come into the office, it's even better because we can get to know you face to face. But just come on in and we'll make sure you get that scorecard. I also have the new book, 5 Steps to a Successful Retirement, and then the information kit, which will have some things in there.
So many complimentary pieces of education that you're giving.
That's what we're trying to do, but we want to educate folks first. I want you to know exactly what you have, what you got. We're gonna take our time with you, folks, and Art will analyze your portfolio, and he'll show you and dig in and show you exactly where those fees are.
Len, we have to take a very quick break. Folks out there, please take advantage of this offer for a complimentary review of everything you're doing. Get your money out of those Wall Street casinos. Get your money as safe as you possibly can by calling Len Strickler right now. In fact, we're all over South Florida, so I've got to say this, Len. The first 10 callers right now get your own complimentary review, along with everything else, the Safe Money Scorecard, and its 5 steps to a safe and successful retirement by calling that number right there, 844-299-0355. More Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler right after this. We're going to talk about longevity risk.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
We're so glad you've come back to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. He's one of the co-founders of the LS Financial Group. You're not just a pretty face on TV.
Oh, well, thank you.
You do this hard work in the offices every single day, helping people get their money safe, to have the income strategy that they need through retirement. And let's be honest, today, longevity risk is one of the biggest risks that's out there. And it's strange to me because being healthier and living longer is all of a sudden a risk? Why is that?
Well, yeah, you know, that's the number one thing. When they do all the surveys, the number one thing that retirees are worried about, keeps them up at night, is will my money go the distance, right? And that's a big concern. So we've got to take this longevity thing off the table or handle it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, medical advances, we're living longer. You and I have talked about this on the radio show.
Yeah.
You've got family members that are 90.
My grandmothers lived into their 90s, and with one of them right now, we are concerned about those funds.
Right.
And we are needing a lot more family care, so a bunch of us are going around and taking care of her, but
well, you
it's
know,
getting harder.
You know my story, right? You know my wife of 45 years, my sweetheart, Marcia. I mean, she was my soulmate. She came down with frontotemporal dementia. Okay, it's a form of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all in there.
And she wasn't very old.
55.
55.
And she was gone at 62. And let me tell you, this is real personal to me, okay? Because, folks, I'm telling you, the long-term care thing, you've got to handle it. We've got to talk about it. One place I had her was $9,600 a month. It'll financially wreck you and it'll emotionally just wipe you out.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a tough journey.
And so how many people actually do come into you and start talking about long-term care as early as their 50s?
No.
Not enough, right?
Not enough. You know.
So that's the thing. We think of long-term care as something we might need later in our 80s or early 90s. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who need it even earlier.
Yeah.
And it's devastating to your accounts.
The thing now is it's so expensive, okay? So that's why what we do with long-term care, we can either do it with, like I said, annuity, right? Fixed index annuity, have a rider on
Which has a function of long-term care.
And you can also do it with life insurance, okay? And we haven't talked about that yet, but we will in a little bit. But those two things, you can actually build long-term care. It's built right into it. So it's a beautiful thing. And it doesn't cost you $800 a month.
Right. I mean, and plus, the thing about individual long-term care plans is I've heard that, they can really just, they increase.
Every year.
And again, that's because they're figuring out the actuary tables of longevity. And we're living longer, so they really need to increase those costs. So for folks who are watching, can you tell me a little bit more about your process? They call into the radio show. What's going to happen? Is it going to be a pitch about products?
No.
How do you start the process of getting to know them?
No, again, well, when people call in, okay, normally folks are calling in because they saw the show or they heard me on the radio, and they've got a question. So the first thing I ask them is, hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. And I personally, you know this, I personally take the calls because you're going to talk to me, folks, all right? And because I love talking with folks and I want to get to know you. So the first thing that's going to happen is I'm just going to ask you, hey, what prompted you? What was the aha moment you got out of the radio or TV show? And they start to talk, all right? And so I just let them talk, and then finally we'll get into, okay, well, how can I help you? What do you have now? We just kind of flow with the conversation, But, we do need to know, obviously, if we're going to help them, right? We got to get some diagnosis, and most people know that. But you want to make it easy on folks because I don't know where it's at. I got to go to the file and get this. I don't know where my statement is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you just kind of ease it into it with them, and you'll get what they. I want to know what your goals are. Period.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about you. Right? It's about you, but not about me. Art and I want to help you. So that's the thing.
Isn't the biggest worry when people come into your office for the first time, am I going to be okay? Am I going to run out of money? Isn't it a big responsibility for you to try to answer that question for them?
It is. Oh, it absolutely is. And that's why folks, what we do is we have a piece of software that's called Wealthy and Wise. It's probably one of the best out there, okay? And Art will run everything you have through this software. It is phenomenal. It'll tell you, take taxes into account, right? We got to take inflation into account. We want to make sure your money's going to be there, right? What's coming in, and then is there any gaps? And if there are gaps, how do we fill those gaps? How do we reposition some of these funds to fill those gaps?
Right.
So that's really what we're about.
So one of the things that you can do for the viewers who are out there right now is you want to offer up your Safe Money scorecard.
Right.
This comes in your Safe Money information kit.
Right.
But a step further from that, you're happy to provide these educational tools. You've got your website and so forth. But also doing a complimentary review. What exactly does that mean to the folks who are watching?
Well, again, like I said, the complimentary review is we take everything into account, folks. All right. Art takes everything you've got. He looks at all your statements, every stock that you have. I mean, he analyzes the whole thing. Now, we also get Carrie involved, our co-founder, CPA.
Okay.
Because we got to handle this tax thing. So in this plan, we got to take into consideration the taxes, folks. Because do you think they're going to go down? I don't think so. But
No.
so this plan really is very comprehensive. We turn over everything for you. We look under every rock.
Right.
And it's really, even your RMDs, when they come due, required minimum distributions, government wants to get their money back if you've deferred it. So, but that's what we do for them. Folks.
How do you have the time to be calling everybody back and running the practice and being on the TV and being on the radio?
You know what? I love it, though. I mean, I do. I love helping people. I just love it.
Right.
So, and, folks, just give me a call at 844-299-0355. That's 844-299-0355. Art and I would love to work with you, and I promise you, it won't hurt.
So just to review for everybody, they're going to get the Safe Money scorecard,
correct,
which comes inside your Safe Money information kit, and most importantly, to get an actual review sitting down with you. So when they walk away from this meeting,
that's a full plan, that one.
They're going to know whether they're okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Folks, thank you so much for watching Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. We're going to be back with more Let's Talk Safe Money once again next week. Thank you so much for watching. Please take advantage of the complimentary review by calling 844-299-0355. Once again, thank you for watching Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. We'll be back again next week.